John's John's Truthful Words, Part 5, Chapter 2, and we're going to number 11. So let's get here and get started. But he was speaking of the temple of his body. No. Let's see. Here it was talking about to build in 3 days, not the temple of his body. That's a cult. That has to do with um, the meditation practice of having sex with a female goddess. A male's maleness retracts inside his day and his body for 3 days. So that's what he's talking about. Rebuild his in 3 days. But the object is that's a mankind, and that's not us. Those who believe we have our creator, have a creator. Well, I know where a creator exists. When therefore he was raised from the dead, as the disciples remember, said, I believe the scripture. And no, this is like almost a note being put in here at the time to relate to this verse here. That's gone. He was in Jerusalem for at the Passover, for his Passover celebration. Okay, celebration is what they were supposed to do for 8 days. Many believed him not beholding, because they witnessed his healings. Okay, not beholding his signs. That was what I was just speaking about, the retraction. What they're talking about up here, which he was doing. But Jesus on Bar's part was not entrusting himself to them, for he knew all men. That he doesn't know. No, that just is not a clear enough sentence to uh, translate and keep it. So that's not needed. He knew what was in man. See, this is the type of thing that I try to tell you the text is there, but I don't want you to think I'm an idiot by just kind of skipping over. But you heard what I said. Um, go on the internet and search for ancient half man, half beast, and you'll see those pictures from then. Also, if you notice, those that study Islamic faith, they have a image of the horse that Muhammad is supposed to rode on to Jerusalem, and that was already destroyed. And there's the house, but the object is the animal is the body of a horse, and it's got the female goddess as a face. And in mythology, who was it? Zeus had the goddess Athena pop from his forehead. Well, that's meditation. And here I'm using the word judge here because the way the question is going to be asked. Because I'm using it as a Pharisee to a judge as Jesus did it. I mean, you could say Nicodemus as something else, a judge who ruled over the Israelis. Okay, not the Jews. So we have it said correctly here. We could have something else here. A priest who, Nicodemus, who ruled over all Israel. But I'm going to use the word judge. It feels better at this situation. It came not at night, but at noon. So, and you see old pictures in old Bibles of Nicodemus and Jesus sitting there. You'll notice that there's this crescent moon at night that's above them when they're talking. That just is their day for their sex with a so-called female goddess. And he said, it doesn't need to be rabbi. He says, I know you have come from YV, for no one who does these healings you do unless YV is with them. Correct. Not signs. Jesus not making signs. Jesus is um, working healings that he was witnessing. Now, Nicodemus, I believe, is in Jerusalem. That text is not really, okay, yes, he was in Jerusalem. Okay, sorry about that. Forgot what I just edited. And Jesus replied, I say, unless one is born again, they cannot enter my kingdom from YV. Okay, now we're going to get to those words. Nicodemus, how can a man be reborn, not born, but reborn, for the simple fact that he knows that that would be reincarnation. So he's asking reborn. They cannot enter the second time into their mother's womb to be reborn. Okay, so I'm making sure that it's reborn the way Nicodemus would be thinking, not the occult, which is talking about this rebirth that, in fact, when a male retracts his antibody, come back out, guess what the Hebrew calendar starts out on, the Muslim calendar starts out on? These days are set according to their practice, not according to anything in the text. Jesus told them, unless one is born into his words, not into his words, not into the spirit. The word they're using, the word spirit, is that of one who meditates, has sex with a so-called female goddess. And after that, in the because that's early morning, this is a few hours after, that a bubble comes up your spine, goes around up the top of your head and down your tongue, and into your belly. But the object here is this, they call it a spirit or an oh God, oh Lord, oh Creator. So when you're reading the text in the Bible, you don't read it that way. You're reading, oh God, oh Lord, oh Creator. They're reading it, oh God, oh Creator, oh Holy Spirit. So the thing here is this, we need to have the words, his words here, and they cannot enter into my kingdom from YV. They have to believe our Creator exists as a creator of all and everything. And then believe Jesus exists and he is our King in heaven. That which is born of flesh is flesh. Okay, excuse me. This Jesus would not need to be saying all these things here. He's already explained the answer above here. Why do you marvel? I say, you must be born again, reborn. So you text should have reborn here. But they've got it written for them and not for you. Wind blows where it wishes. That's kind of odd. Jesus would say the word wishes. And you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from, where it's going. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. They don't know where this bubble created from and where it's going until they experience it. Here, Nicodemus answered, but actually Jesus is the one speaking here, so said, your priests do not, said your teachers, but they're priests. But your priests do not understand his words, not these things, his words. We're talking about into his words. Um, mm, um, I'm thinking of debating the word priest here. That might change. Your scribes do not understand. Well, could be your teachers. They're, yeah, I'm going to leave teachers here. I'm going to put in teachers back here. I was trying to think, what would you describe as the one who's up in front of your um, gathering? If he's not a preacher, he's a teacher, isn't he? So it's your teachers do not understand because they're reading the false text. I mean, for example, everybody's reading from the text now and so confused. Um, Especially when they're talking to me, they really can't get away with lying. I go all over the place in the text, and they're just, "You're a heretic. Leave me alone." I think it's funny when they do that. They say, "Speak what you do not know, and bear witness of what they have experienced." See, I've got to put this text in here because I know what's going on with them. Our Creator uh, taught me everything. I experienced everything except for retraction of my penis inside my body. I didn't allow that to happen. Um, but the object is this is what I'm speaking about, and bear witness of what they have experienced. What you do not know is what he's telling them, and bear witness of what they have experienced. If I told you of unearthly things and you do not believe me, how would you believe me if I tell you of heaven? Not heavenly things. Uh, See, that's just it. And these words should be popping out to you now if you're actually paying attention to each of the verses. No soul has it in the and it says no one, but no one has ascended into heaven. Actually, that's Jesus is telling them that until I have a kingdom in heaven, there is no souls or what keeps us alive in our body after our body's done and we still have a soul. At that time, they were still sent to the abyss. Okay. And whose soul has ascended into heaven. So when Jesus' body dies, his soul ascends into heaven. And the text in the other books will say the earth shook and the graves opened and they seen ghosts or spirits, which are really souls, ascend into heaven. Now, um, that's was for them at that time to see that and understand that and have that written. Um, and I have descended from heaven as your son for man, meaning he was sent by our Creator. Moses lifted up a serpent in the wilderness, even so your son of man. No, this is not true. This serpent, I don't want to get into what the occult's got written here. I just want to get into correcting it. Believe me, this is just, no, it's wrong. Because what is the wilderness? See, see where they're using the word wilderness again? They're in the desert, okay? Um, as your son for man, I will ascend into heaven, not be lifted up. I will ascend. I will ascend into heaven. Don't need the DED. Um, he's maybe this is a story after he come back and he's talking to him. No. Um, um, See here he's talking. Jesus talking in third person. They have eternal life always, there is no such thing as you not ever now having to know you're going to be forever. So the word eternal doesn't um, fit the understanding our Creator has taught us about the soul. And it's a life with Jesus. And YV that love but loves everyone and gave his first son, not a begotten, only begotten son. Um, there we are all sons of our Creator. Our Creator made all sons, all daughters, made us all. So when it says only begotten, what does that really mean? Well, actually, that's what I try to explain when I explain the title, that he is sent from our Creator. He is to obey him, and he was to obey that he was to uh, die on the cross, brutal death. But the thing here was I had to put it his first son. He gave his first son. And now this is where, yes, you can say I am influencing my words into the text. Although I know that there is other text that talks about Jesus being our highest. When you clean up that text, it's talking about our highest from, and that would be an Israeli writing from the nation of Israel. He is his highest, one who obeyed the most of our Creator. I am adding the word first here. I know in the videos that if you're watching these in progressive, I would have been saying and pointing it out that there's some sentences that I would explain later when the text is all put together. This has got to be this will be explained as well at that time. But I believe Jesus was his first creation of another being, and then the rest of the angels were then created afterwards. But Jesus was the first one. So his beloved son, I could put the beloved son here because he was his firstborn, and the firstborn is usually one on earth's first beloved son. But I'm trying to make sure that you understand when Jesus says the earth was made for him, before earth was made, I existed. All these verses you have to really think about. And when you understand the text, when you see it done and come back here and see me trying to explain this word first, you'll see that placed in other text. So I'm making sure that it's here as well. And like I said, one of the words that you're really going to point out or highlight that I put in, um, uh, I can't agree with you. I think others would, but I can't. Should not perish, you cannot perish. Starting to throw out a lot of verses this time around here. I know Matthew had quite a bit, uh, but now it's send me into the world to judge. Now, see, I might change these into the worlds, but not send me to earth to judge, because I just don't think they had the word world at that time. The word earth is, he made the heavens and earth. So the thing here is those, um, I'm trying to keep all words like that. So maybe the word world will be coming out later. Or I see he's trying to say the world, and it's the people. I came to the earth to judge our people, but for everyone to be forgiven through me. But everyone to be forgiven through me. He who believes in him is not judged. He who believes in has already been judged because he that believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. No, this is Um, when you think about uh, our Creator saying everybody on earth, uh, He will have compassion and mercy from it, um, to be rewarded into heaven. They certainly did not know about Jesus. Before the flood, all those people before the blood, those flood, those still ascended into heaven. Those that were really trying to be good people. Um, so this is not true. Jesus knows that. Yeah, that's not. This and this is the judgment that the light comes into the world. Well, he's referring to himself. He's See, there's too much in this verse that's being said wrong. Okay, and mankind loved the darkness rather than the light, because now we're talking about the sun and not, and it's not comes into the world that the sun shines upon the earth. But it's the way they write these verses that are deceiving to you, because most of you probably are just hearing about the sex practice with the female goddess. So everyone who does evil hates not light but good, and who does not come to good, their deeds I will expose. So that's meaning Jesus is going knows that, and there he's going to be able to judge out of that. Who practice is who practice is truth. Well, don't need the word practices. Who is truthful comes to good. Their deeds will be known by YV. That's true. Not be manifested. Our Creator gives everyone um, their thoughts. The way I try to explain our thoughts is that when we're thinking, we're kind of giving two at the same time, and one is always lesser than the other. And those that keep taking the lesser become evil. If they take the one that is not lesser, they become good. And this is kind of replacing the word manifested when you know that that is what happens in your thoughts. And Jesus and his disciples came to the region of Judah. Now, this is too early um, for here. Okay, now I've been telling people that there was a place near where Jesus was baptized, okay? And John was baptizing people near Salem, or Salem, yes. Now I'm going to show you where that is, and I'm going to show you where Judah is at, so you know the text and what's going on, how truthful things are, and how truthful are not things. Okay, Judah is down here, not even the Jordan River. Judah as a kingdom never owned anything on the river. It talks about to the river, so that's why I have it, some of it there. And I don't know how exact. When I was making these, I didn't want to copy exactly, so the shape of the river here and all these rivers are my best guessing by tracing over another map and then making this map myself. And up here, this is the company that actually you can find them on the web. What they do is have land structure like you see it, but no cities or anything. They have bodies of water, but not all the bodies of water. But they have enough on there that you start with a blank sheet and you can make your own maps. Now, um, down here is where Salem is my best guess. Okay. And when I was saying earlier, because when I've done a lot of them, I was thinking um, John was baptizing around here or here. But I kept mentioning there was going to be this city. So it has to be near the river, okay? Now, as you see the note here, this is where Israel as a nation crossed the Jordan River into the promised land. Right here is where Moses looked down upon the hill country and seen the promised land. But the object is that here we have established this, around this area, there is a city. That's why I don't have a city marked. Some of these markings that I have as their location, I did a lot of studying. I looked at what other people had thought, but a lot of times there's text that was saying other than what they were saying, the where the location is. Although I found the text of where they were saying it was, but they should have made notes or something saying there's possibly two different. But this is where it was. And Jesus and his disciples came to the region, and Jesus is baptized, and his disciples are there. This is not going to be all true here. And here, John had not yet been thrown in prison. Well, of course not. Jesus needs to be baptized. So that type of thing, you just know is, yeah, see how corrupt the text is all of a sudden going to get. I was just thinking how the text was starting to lose a lot of words, and now this is all this. I got to explain this. Okay, I've got time to. Now here, there's a discussion of John's about Jews, about purification. Well, excuse me, Jews are not believers of Jesus. So the writer doesn't understand this. They're using the word Jew as a trick word about purification because that's a practice Jesus tells them that that's their own laws and stuff. So it's not following our Creator. So that becomes, this purification becomes like known as a tradition. And so there's many different traditions, and this is one of them. And and then John said, Rabbi, John was not yet. Because I'm trying to, it's just, I'm trying to think, are they talking to the disciples? Whose disciples asking this? He was beyond the Jordan, to whom you have borne witness. Behold, as he is baptized, and all are coming to him. Well, the only thing is long before this, if you're reading the other books, you know that Jesus did a lot of healing already, and it was that the disciples already knew that about him. They reported John. John sent them back. So they knew they were already coming to him more than they were to John, and John says that's what's supposed to happen. So this is just not true. See, here it's kind of like John's answer cannot receive nothing unless it's been given to him from heaven. Well, excuse me, it doesn't come from heaven. It comes from our Creator, and he should have said our Creator. But again, they don't like using the word Creator because they don't want you to really. If you ever notice, if you try to argue on any website, or not website, any chat room or things that are well established, that somebody will come in and try to trick you with this word and this word and this word and this word. And you don't understand it, but the truth is that these people that have this practice, and when they read the text, they understand that, oh, that's a trick word. That trick word, that means me in my practice. They're trying to trick you into using their verses, not the other verses, because um, there's a lot of them out there, and they got nothing else to do. They started these groups, and since they got a lot of them together in a group, that's why you see not the smaller groups take off. Smaller groups are established probably by true Christians, but the larger ones I've known, and I've been on quite a few of them, and I'm telling you, when I get going, they kick me out because I'm telling them too much truth. Um, but anyways, that's me having fun on the internet. Uh, well, here, this is just it's a friend of the party. Um, trick words. Don't need it. Oh, you must increase, I must decrease. Well, John's going to get beheaded. He's going to decrease real quick. uh, he who comes from above is above all. Well, wait a second. Our Creator is above everyone. So the thing here is he who is in the earth is from the earth, speaks of the earth. He who comes from heaven is above all. We all come from our Creator, so if we're coming from the earth, it's this practice that of reincarnation that's being put in here. Um, so you have to understand the writers of Greek at that time. Um, they were really being influenced from Asia. Um, no man receives his witness. This is just untrue. And God is true. He who received his witness. I'm just going to tell you that's gone. These are all going to be gone. But I got these highlighted. He whom God has sent speaks words of God, and he gives the Spirit without measure. See, how does that even make sense to a Christian? Okay, the one who does not have the sex practice. But I'm sure there's some Christians out there that actually try to make sense of that. The Father loves the Son and has given him all things into his hand. No, he hasn't. Our Creator is allowing him to have a kingdom in his heaven. Not all things are his. He who believes in the Son has eternal life. No, that's not true. You have to be forgiven. He who does not obey the Son will not see life. That's wrong because our Creator says that there's compassion and mercy, especially for the children, because they would not have the concept of adults that have lived long enough to have thoughts about the world. Um, but the wrath of God abides on him? Nope. And Jesus was making and baptizing more than the disciples than John. How is he baptized? Jesus was never along the river baptizing, although he himself was not baptizing. No, they had to put that in there. Okay. One he was, and then no, wait a second, that's not the baptism we want is written. Everybody will think that he's actually on the river. No, that's what I mean. This is like, oops, wait a second, there's an error and we need to correct the text. That's what that parentheses shows to me a lot of times. All those words are all gone, just gone. Um, Jesus left Judah and went into Israel. Well, we know that these are going to get changed because I'm going to change them into the territory names of the tribes' names of their land. So, because left Judah, he hasn't went to, except for that this verse might be that, or like I said, when Jesus actually starts in the favorable year of the Lord, Jesus has to be at the Passover celebrating this passing over on the first of the year for 8 days. And what we have is a story of Jesus going out and healing a guy by a pool of water. And then he takes off, then he starts walking north. But maybe this text will go into that part. Maybe there's a story here that I'm missing. Now, Samara. Okay. And because he's going into Israel, he passed through the Samara hill. He passed through Samara, and then he came to the city of Samara. Here, the text is actually trying to say that the true Israelis don't go by um, the 12 tribes. Okay, they don't go by this. Now, okay, here's the location of Moses. So the thing here is that if he's leaving down here, Judah, he's got to go through Benjamin, Ephraim, West Manasseh, and Issachar, and go up through here. So this here is where John baptized, someplace along this river here. So was he along this river baptizing? I see him at crossroads, the cross places where they had bridges. They said that's why they would be able to say bridge number 3 or something, or bridge for Ephraim, or bridge for West Manasseh is where he's at. But when the text is saying hill country or Samara as a location, you can go and search, and people will try to be putting the area there, but there was never an area called Samara. Okay, there was a city, Samara, but it wasn't called Shinar. Let me bring up the map again. Let me show you where. See Samara up here? And there is a story about when there's a king doing battle over here when they were coming in. They already overtook East Manasseh here. They already stole that land, the Armenians. And then they were fighting over a city, Ramat, I think, down in here. I don't know if it's on this side or this side. It's probably on this side someplace. But the king gets injured and he goes back to his fort. And then all of a sudden he hears the guard from the guard tower saying, I see one riding like Jehu. And he knows that that's one of his commanders. So he's wondering, is it peace now that the war is over or they're done? And so he says, send out someone to ask him if it's peace. And the tower guard says, he met him, but he didn't reply. He isn't coming back. And then the king, I can't remember his name right now, he gets in the head chariot and he takes off and he gets he goes and he meets with Jehu, and Jehu kills him. But the object is how did that guard be able to see him unless he's on a hill that doesn't have a crossover for a bridge, that he's got to come some long distance and the guard can see him. He's watching the road, that there's got to be some kind of path or bridge over here that they're going to get to, that they're coming over here. So when all this can happen in the text that I just got done telling you by the guard. So this is the only logical sense that it can be, is Samara is located here. So it's not called Sinar. So, by Samara, called Sinar. Okay. There's another city that I couldn't locate or I didn't. I've done this text a few times, one under our creator's hidden formats, and a lot of times some of these words never made it. But here, and there was a parcel of ground that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Now, the problem with Joseph, he was 12 years old, or 10 years old, I think, when his brothers sold him. So how is there's any parcel of ground that Jacob gave him? Jacob only gives out on his deathbed, he tells them what area is theirs and what's what, who gets what. Okay. So the thing here is and Jacob, they were living in, let's see, do I have that map? No, I guess I didn't know I was going to run into this text. It's been a while, but let me bring let me bring this one up. This here is the 3 territories that they're saying here. And what happens is this is where I know Abraham existed, okay? When you're reading the text and you're trying to find this location, he is in Canaan. This is Canaan, below the rivers here, because Jacob was sent to Shem's. Now, he didn't go 700 miles by the way the bird flies all the way back and cross the Euphrates River. Do you understand how big the Euphrates River is and how much water is coming out of Turkey, rushing down them rivers, and in the spring, all that thawing? That river is so huge. I think there's a picture of they got where they said that they traveled into. Gotta stop. Anyways, because I'm getting up for 40 minutes there, I knew I was starting to talk, and I said I better check the time. We're talking about this well that or this property that is given, but it's not. But the object is Jacob goes this way, and always coming back. Laban's he crossed the river, or he's past the rivers. Now, this is where they're talking about past the river. See this river coming down here into here? There's only this little opening. So this is dividing Canaan's land to this land, and Canaan's descendants were getting this land. Not Shem's people were getting any land here. They had to buy land. They had to do it that way, and they were buying somebody else's land to have land. So the thing here is this is where this well is in this area that they're talking about. So it wasn't way up there by Samara. So this stuff is really false when you do enough studying and you put a map together. I know I'm just showing you the map. You got to trust me. I spent probably 10, 12 years making those maps. So I would place something, but never as for sure until I was sure. And then I had placed, so when I clicked on the name, it would appear 3 or 4 different places. And then I read a new story and say, well, that can't be that story. Then it's over here. So, but the object is you got to trust me on those maps a little bit. He was walking and he sat by the well about the 6th hour. Now, this is the story of now Jesus truly leaving Judah. Like I said, he did one, he's going up to this well. So this is the story that we're going to continue with in the next video, because a woman came to draw from the well. So I'm going to have to probably put this city on that map now, okay? So just to let you know that what's going on. And near there, whoops, I can see I hit the, oops, yeah, I hit the tab key instead. But the object is you now know the location where the text is, and I was kind of wondering how this was happening, because in my mind I'm doing quite a few videos in a row, and so this a lot of stuff was fresh into my mind, like I've already said it once. But here I need to sum it up a little bit quicker and faster for these videos.